Okay guys, so today I'm answering the question here from the YouTube user DRK Gigliotti. And guys, he has a very good question. His question is, do you think it's harder now to get the black belt than it was maybe 20 years ago? Guys, this is such a great question. And I think it's great because nowadays there are so many more people doing jiu-jitsu, and I think everybody wants to know the path, like from where they're starting until the black belt, how long it's gonna take. And guys, stick with me here because I have a very optimistic answer for this. And I think if you're doing jiu-jitsu and you're on the path to get a black belt, you're gonna like to hear what I have to say here. So guys, I think the answer is no. I think it's definitely easier to get the black belt nowadays than it was 20 years ago. And the reason why is, in my opinion, the number one reason is because in the old times, there was this very old school style of promoting students. Many schools around the world would only give the belts to those guys who were crazy tough, I would almost say the survivors, the ones who started jiu-jitsu and they didn't give up and they're crazy tough and they train a lot and they're hardcore type of jiu-jitsu people. And so I think the reason that thing was happening is because the jiu-jitsu school owners, they only wanted to have black belts that were very tough to make sure that they could represent the level of their schools, which in my opinion is completely doesn't make any sense, But anyways, so I think that's the number one reason. That old school style is not happening anymore. So nowadays, these schools are becoming a lot more professional - commercial. And I think the schools is really becoming schools versus before it was almost like a club, it was almost like a professional fighting type of thing. Versus now, the schools are more really like a school, for example, if you go, how many people don't go through high school, for example? Almost everybody finished the high school, and I think if you started jiu-jitsu, you should be able to finish your path if you didn't stop. Even if you're not the most talented person, or even if you're not the person who trains the most, maybe it's going to take a little longer, but you should be able to get the black belt at some point. If you're training consistent, if you're learning jiu-jitsu, if you're dedicating, there's no reason to not get the black belt at some point. So another reason that I believe as well, that I made a note here, is that nowadays there are a lot more jiu-jitsu schools everywhere. So I think many times it would happen that someone was training jiu-jitsu and they have to move to some other place, and then this place didn't have any jiu-jitsu school nearby, and then they stop it for 3 years, and it gets hard to get the black belt if there's not enough jiu-jitsu schools around you and that kind of stuff. So I think that's another reason. There are a lot more schools nowadays, so a lot more opportunities to train somewhere and get the black belt. Another reason, there's more sources for learning. 20 years ago, probably the only way to learn jiu-jitsu was you gotta go to the school and learn jiu-jitsu. You gotta go to your school, to your academy and train jiu-jitsu. Nowadays, there's BJJ Fanatics. Hope you guys have seen BJJ Fanatics before. That's the website that we founded. There's BJJ Fanatics. There's YouTube. There is there's a lot of ways, so. And then on top of that, there's a lot more people doing jiu-jitsu as well. So because there are a lot more people doing jiu-jitsu, you can have more people to talk about jiu-jitsu, you can have more people to practice jiu-jitsu. You go to the school, probably there's a lot more students than 20 years ago. So that's another reason as well. And there's a lot more tournaments. Nowadays, if you live in a big city, I can almost guarantee that you can find one jiu-jitsu tournament per month around your area. And tournaments, it's one way to accelerate the path to get the black belt, in my opinion, because you can test yourself. And if you go there and win the tournaments, probably your instructor is going to see that and is going to think oh, I think he's already in the next level. He should get the next belt, something like that. So there's a lot more tournaments as well. And so I think if we had to back it up here, all the reasons, in my opinion, I think nowadays there's not so much the old school mentality that I'm only going to promote who's crazy tough. This is ending, in my opinion. I think most of the jiu-jitsu schools right now, it's becoming really schools, becoming professional, commercial, and they want to promote like all the students that doesn't stop training. So there are more jiu-jitsu schools everywhere. There's more sources for learning, BJJ Fanatics, YouTube, etc., etc. There are more tournaments and there are more practitioners. So I think when you put all those things together, I think like nowadays it is easier to get the black belt than 20 years ago. So guys, this is my opinion. I would love to hear your opinion underneath here in the comments. Maybe you have some different idea here that I'm not thinking, and I think that can help me even to grow my knowledge. So please leave in the comments your thoughts and what you think. And also make sure to check it out, bjjfanatics.com. We talked here about more sources for learning jiu-jitsu. BJJ Fanatics is definitely one, is the website that we founded, where we have the best instructors in the world in the same location and the same website. And I think that's about it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was a great question, so thanks so much, DRK Gigliotti. I really appreciate your question. And guys, make sure to put questions in the comments as well. I want to make more videos like those, and your questions are the way I can figure out new videos here. So thank you, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Os.